حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما بقية الله الأعظم روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. The subject that we have been discussing in these days of Muharram has been the subject of beauty. Beauty, that is, Allah has mentioned it in 50 ayat of the Quran. So it is a subject that is relevant, and Allah raised it in the Quran. And obviously we need to know what this subject is and how does it apply. What is it that we have to do with this subject? And when you look at the ayat of the Quran, that I read a few of them for you, Allah speaks about the power of beauty and attraction. Attraction has power. It's powerful. Attraction and beauty is how shaitan misguides. It's so powerful that it can misguide a believer away from Allah to such an extent that it stops him. Sometimes when you see that a person gets attracted by this beauty that shaitan gives, anything, whether it's entertainment, whether it's music, or any sort of thing that shaitan brings from this dunya and portrays it in such a way that it looks attractive, then what happens is that we get captivated by that, we get mesmerized by that, and as soon as we fall for his trap, Allah says there's no coming back after that. You can't come back after that. So this is such a trap that if a person falls for it, then you're not coming back to the right path. See, istighfar stops working. Tawbah stops working when you fall for the weapon of attraction. You know, it's like someone who's drunk. You can't guide him. Same thing, someone who's in love. You can't help him. No matter what you say, it doesn't work. That's what happens. So for us, it's very important that we know the power of this. And this is how, the way to deal with it, I said a little bit yesterday, is that we need to make the things that we do more attractive, beautiful. Make it look good. Make yourself look good. We have advice from Quran and Ahlul Bayt and Hadith regarding how we need to beautify things. You know, we have rules. For example, the person who gives azan in the masjid, he should have a good voice. Why? Because you're calling people to Allah, so it needs to be attractive. It needs to be an attractive call. I mean, if you send someone there who has no rhyme and rhythm or has no voice, you're not going to call the people away, you're going to run them away. When they hear that, they're like, what's going on here? Why is this rule there? The rule is there to make things beautiful. Reciters need to work on themselves to make their voice beautiful. Practice. Make it like that. Why is it? Because this is how Allah wants it. That's why Ahlul Bayt said to write poetry. Because poetry is beautiful. It's attractive. And hence write it. Read poetry. It's attractive. Everywhere you see in Islam, there is the emphasis of beauty. Because it has power. And once you take that beauty away, even if you have the best thing, the best matter and the best content, if the packaging is bad, most of the people are going to leave it. They're going to leave it. And I'm going to give you an example. Let me give you an example. Send a salawats. There, for the kids, this might be a long time ago, right? But when the British Empire came to the Middle East to colonize the Middle East, and when they came to, let's say, Iraq, to colonize the Iraq, so Iraq and Iran was mostly Shias. So obviously they were like, okay, how do we deal with Shias? What should we do with Shias? So they started to do research. How can we break the Shias into submitting to the empire and expand the efforts of colonization, which was happening. So now what happened is that these people, they actually wrote a report of how to weaken the Shias. What are their strengths and how to weaken the Shias. And that report was recently released, by the MI6. It wasn't from MI6. MI6 was created later, but this was old missions that were formed and there were reports written down. It was written. It's very interesting to see what the enemies have to say. Sometimes we need to go there and see what they have to say. And they said that Shias have two strengths. Two strengths that if these strengths continue to exist, then there's no way that we can do anything to Shias. There's no way we can do anything to Shias. They won't budge. They'll stay on their path and no one will be able to misguide them. It's very hard. And they admitted that. So what are these two weaknesses that apparently we have, or two strengths that we have, that if they can weaken, and they wrote reports how to do it also, right? They gave our strengths, and in the report it says, how do you weaken this thing? Send a salawat. So, what are the two strengths that they mention? I'm not mentioning this. We didn't mention this, my friends. Who mentioned these strengths? This is the not the MI6, the mission that was made for Iraq to weaken the Shias, to bring them down. Listen to this seriously, really. What did they wrote down? They said the two strengths that the Shias have that makes them strong. Number one is marja'iyat. Them having a marja. This is a strength of Shias. No matter what we try to do, the last word is a marja, and you know what? You can't get to them. You can't do anything to them. The people you can fool. You can make them do all sorts of idiotic things and they'll do it. The Shias, you can fool them, but these Marajah, you can't fool them. Because these people are like, intelligent, smart, educated, they know what's going on, and they are there to protect the deen. How do we deal with that? So first thing they said, we have to destroy marja'iyat. First thing we need to do is destroy marja'iyat. Bring doubts amongst people regarding marja. Regarding them, bring doubts. So they started doing that. They started doing it from 200 years ago. Because this is in their report they wrote down that marjaiyat needs to be destroyed. How do you destroy it? Create doubts among Shias regarding marjaiyat. Start creating doubts. Put them out there, put it out there, and so that Shias lose this respect they have for marja, so that once they leave them, then they're like sheep without a shepherd. It's easy to get them. It's easy to now put a leader on them who's going to misguide them into nobody's land. My friends, simple as that. Do this. They said, let's do this. That's number one. First thing. And, they did many things, they were, and we have, evidence and proofs of that through the history of India and Pakistan and what happened there in that time and all these things that they were doing. This is what they were trying. They're trying to make the leadership of the Shias weak, or weak in the eyes of people. This is one thing they're doing. But second thing they said, the strength of the Shias is their imams. The haram of the imams. These Shias, when they come to the haram, their whole deen is revived. Everything they believe in comes to life when they come to the haram of their imams. It becomes alive again. There's somehow and something that we need to do to cut their relationship from their imams. Second thing, from the haram. How do we cut that relationship? Now I want you to understand. Now they gave ideas. I'm not going to speak about the marjaiyat part because that's not in relationship to our subject. But in relationship to the haram part, Karbala, Najaf, that's what they saw. They said, Shias, when they come here, that's it. They go back like they're ready to fight everyone. They're ready to stand up for everything, Subhanallah. How can we destroy the effect of the haram of Imam Hussein? Look at them, how they're thinking. See, enemies, you need to see how they're thinking. Like shaitan, when you want to think of shaitan, try to learn how he thinks. That will help you in trying to, at least protect yourself. When the enemies think, you need to see how they're thinking, then protect yourself. So they said, you know what they said? As an advice of how to cut the relationship of the haram to the Shias, they said, the first thing we need to do is to make Karbala and Najaf dirty. Throw garbage all around the haram. Make it less attractive. Put garbage there. Make them used to garbage. Use that around as a garbage dump, so when people come there to the haram, they come for Imam Hussein. But you know what? You got to see what's around you. And what you see around you is garbage and junk. And we have hadiths regarding garbage is the home for shayateen. Even in your house, if you have garbage in your house, piling up, it's the home for shayateen. That's where shayateen come and they then misguide the people who live in that house. That's why it says cleanliness is a part of faith. Why? Because if you leave it dirty, that is a source of misguidance. Not the garbage, but the shayateen who come because of that garbage. They will misguide. So now what happened? In Karbala and Najaf, there was an effort by the British to throw garbage around the harams and make people used to the garbage. So when they get used to the garbage, they don't pick it up. They leave it as it is. And so people who come there now to the haram, instead of them being focused on the imams and getting the light of the imams and procuring that light that exists in the haram of the imams, this garbage that is around there will distract them from that and they will lose their focus. I see how important is beauty. How important is it to make sure that there is that attraction, that cleanliness? Just that. And they're doing it. That's why even any place you go, even whatever belongs to the Imam, our first job is to clean it, to make it look attractive. Physically attractive. وَمَن يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِن تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. Allah says in the Quran. Those who do ta'zeem, grandize the signs of Allah, and the greatest signs of Allah are Ahlul Bayt. If you aggrandize them, make it greater, make it more beautiful, make it more prettier, what does that do? It is from the taqwa of the qulub, for the heart. This is where we come to, my friends. The taqwa of the heart comes from here. Your deen is here. Make that ta'zeem of these Ahlul Bayt. Make the ta'zeem of the haram. And the way to destroy the ziyarat, is through this garbage that they put forward as an advice. And it's working. And it works, my friends. You go there and you see the garbage that's around it and everyone used to the garbage. And then you see that, alhamdulillah for Ahlul Bayt, but look at the garbage around. Why are we even talking about the garbage? Because it's there. Because it's there. That's why you're talking about it. Just one sentence that you waste on the garbage is that one sentence you could have spoken about Ahlul Bayt. Just that one idea that you have about what's happening around is that one idea that you wasted that could have been used for Ahlul Bayt to get light. This is how it happens. Just that little much is enough. Just that little much is enough. And that's why it's so important for us to make sure that we weaponize beauty and use it, the beauty that Allah has given to Ahlul Bayt, to make sure it reaches the people. Make sure that it reaches the people. As I said on the first day, that we are the ones who are making doors around Ahlul Bayt and locking it so that no one comes to Ahlul Bayt. Why is that? Because of the way that we keep things. And this is not just you, it is shaitan who is misguiding you to do that if you're doing it. He's misguiding you to make sure that, garbage, this and that, get used to it. Really, when you look at, for example, here in America, really simply, best thing, I don't know about you all, when I was involved in like business and all these things, and restaurants, and I had some experience, not so great, but still, it's there. So what happened is this, right? The number one thing here in America that people look at, bathrooms. That's it. They look at bathroom. When the bathroom is good, the restaurant is good. If the bathroom is bad, don't go to that place. Simple as that. My friends, it's in everything that we do here in America. We have to maintain and properly, not just the hall, but the bathrooms. Make sure it's cleaned and nice, smelling good. This is the way of Ahlul Bayt. This is our, not something that we do as a hobby, but it's our Islamic duty. It's a responsibility we have to make sure that Ahlul Bayt and the houses that belong to them are presentable, are beautified. Why? Because it says, وَمَن يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Well, I'm not going to say much right now, as we are going to come to a close. We are going to be discussing, when we say beauty in Islam, that Allah made Islam beautiful. Let me read the ayat again. He says, وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ حَبَّبَ إِلَيْكُمُ الْإِيمَانِ. Allah has made Iman beloved for you. He made it attractive for you. وَزَيَّنَهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. He has made it beautiful in your heart, made it look good, made it attractive. So, do we see the attraction of Islam? Do we see the attraction of Islam? Our deen, our practice. Really, do you enjoy it? Or are you just going about the daily routine just to get over it? When you, for example, pray, is it something that you love to do? Or is it something that, you know what, let me get this out of the way. Then we can watch the game. Where are you? Look at yourself. You don't need to say anything. Look at where you are. That's how you judge faith. That's how you judge faith. I told you, you don't judge faith by asking the question, do you love Ahlul Bayt or not? Everyone will say, yes, I love Ahlul Bayt. But if I ask you, how much? How much do you love Ahlul Bayt? See, that's the question to ask for faith, for believers. How much? Gauge yourself like that. Is it the love of Misam-e-Tammar? Misam, amongst the companions of Imam Ali, was known as a lover. Was known as a lover. All of them, they were Shias. Ammar Yasir, Shia, Malik Ashtar, about whom Imam Ali said, Malik, you are to me like I was to Rasulullah. About Malik he said. But you know what? Malik met Misam. Malik was like, who are you? Who are you? That was Misam. People don't know this, Imam Ali used to tell his deepest secrets to Misam. Things that you can't handle, he would tell to Misam. Misam is the one who told Mukhtar that, listen, you are going to take the revenge against the killers of Ahlul Bayt. And Mukhtar was like, well, he said, Mawla told me, don't worry. And he told me to tell you. My friend, Misam was like that. He was a lover of Ahlul Bayt. Even amongst the companions, they saw him as weird. Not that he was bad in their eyes, but he was just weird. Because lovers are like that. Are you that lover? Yes, we all have love to an extent. To an extent we have love, but not so much. Our job is to increase that. You see, why don't I find Ahlul Bayt so attractive like Misam was attracted to Imam Ali? Misam, like Imam Ali, he told him once that, Misam, you know what? You will be hung on this tree here. That you'll be hung on this tree right here. And Misam was like, at that time that tree was a pod. It was a small little pod. And you know what Misam did? He came there every day and put water in it so that pod can become a tree. So that what Imam Ali said comes out true. My friends, Ahlul Bayt told you, Ahlul Bayt have told you, Imam-e-Zamana is coming. They said Imam is coming, right? So, how are you watering that plant? That's a pod right now. How are you watering that plant? See, Misam was told about the future. And to Misam, it was like, you know what? I'm going to be a part of my future. And here, I will water this. Now that you know that Imam is coming, what are you doing for him? How many hours do you have in a day? 24 hours. Okay. Whatever hours you have, however time you have in a day, how much of that time are you even thinking of Imam Mahdi? Think about it. Think about it. That's it, my friends. Some things are in Allah's plans and we don't see how things happen like that. Imam's wisdom and what they do is not just what is happening in front of them, but what they see hundreds and thousands of years later. Their vision is that long. We, when we do things, is right now. We get angry at what we see in front of us. Or we get happy at what we see in front of us. But how about the future? I don't care. I'm not looking that far. But the Imams, they do that. Imams, they do that. Yeah, that's it. When Imam Hassan was in his deathbed, so his son Qasim was 3 years old. Qasim was 3 years old. Only 3 years old. And in his deathbed, Bibi Farwa says that he asked for Qasim. She brought Qasim, who was only a toddler, to the bedside. He says to take his shirt off. Imam Hassan couldn't move because the effects of the poison was such that his hands and feet were not working. He says, take his shirt off. She took the shirt off of Qasim. He says, bring him closer to me. And as he was brought closer to him, Imam Hassan started kissing his chest. Just kissing his chest. Different parts of his chest. And then he took out a letter that was underneath his bed. He took it out, put it in a locket, and said, give this to Qasim when he grows up. And make sure he has it every time with him. This is my token for him. Take it. Make him have it. Make sure he knows that this is from me, and only to open it when there's grave danger in front of him. So then what happened is that Hazrat Qasim was special because he was yatim after that. He was yatim after that. After that, Imam Hassan died. Now Imam Hussein was like his father. And to Imam Hussein, he was special. Even more than his children, Imam Hussein would look to Qasim and all that, and he would make sure that he shows his love for them. Imagine how much emphasis Islam has on yatim, on orphans. And this is the orphan of Imam Hassan. You think Imam Hussein is going to leave them? No. Imam Hussein showed so much love for Qasim, that Qasim never had missed his father. But you know what? When the day of Ashura came, Qasim was missing his father. Because Imam Hussein had said no to him. Qasim went to him and said, uncle, let me go to the battlefield. Imam Hussein said, no, Qasim, go away. Qasim was sitting there. At that point, he remembered his father so much. Father, if you were here with me, I miss having a father today. Never did Imam Hussein let me miss you, but today I'm missing you. When Farwa saw Qasim, she said, why? What are you doing here? He says, my uncle won't let me go to the battlefield. Then Farwa reminded him, look at that locket on your hand. That locket is a letter from your father. He remembered that. He opened it right away. And when he opened the letter, it was to Qasim. There was one part to Qasim that says, Qasim, when you see that your uncle Hussein is alone, he's in danger, he's in Mazloom, and he needs help, Qasim, take this letter and give it to my brother Hussein. So Qasim brought that letter and he gave it and he said to Imam Hussein, uncle, look what I have. He showed him the letter of Imam Hassan. Imam Hassan's letter. When Imam Hussein saw it, he recognized the writing of his brother. He started to cry, and he read there that his brother is writing him, my brother, if you see this letter, then know that I am sending Qasim on my behalf to help you. Don't stop him from going. Well, it is said that when Hussein read that letter, he was shaking. He called Qasim. Both of them embraced each other and they cried so much, it says that they fell to the ground. They fell to the ground. When they got up, then Hussein said, Qasim, get ready to go. Qasim went. He went there. I'm going to make it short. When he went there to get them, he get ready and he came out. He was wearing the amama of Imam Hassan. And both Hussein and Abbas looked at each other with tears in their eyes. Abbas said, my brother, he reminds me of Hassan. Qasim came out and both of them put Qasim on the horse. Now Qasim, for his height, was short. He was short for his height, so his feet would not reach the bridle of the horse. So they customized it. They brought the bridle up so he could put it inside. When Qasim started going to the battlefield, both Hussein and Abbas were there looking at him and just telling him, listen, if anything happens, call us. He goes inside, and then he fights a courageous fight. Just for a boy, it's nothing. These are soldiers, trained soldiers who came and fought him, but he was putting them down to the sword, killing them left and right. But what happened? What happened at that point? They looked at that. When he came out, people said, who is sending this boy out here? You know, they told each other, he looks like the moon, he's so handsome. He is such a handsome boy. Which mother would like to see this child killed? They made a plan. They said, you know what? One person said, I will go and take care of him. I will go and take care of him. So Qasim, when he was fighting, this person came there and with one stroke from the backside where Qasim could not see from his blind side, he hit Qasim in such a way that Qasim went flying to the ground. He was a little boy. When that mace hit him, he fell flying to the ground. When he fell to the ground, he called out to his uncle, uncle, come and help me. Uncle, adrikni, ya muadrikni. When he called out to Imam Hussein, both Imam Hussein from one side, Hazrat Abbas from one side started dashing towards the battlefield. They came so fast that the enemy thought that they're attacking. They got so scared. They were running helter-skelter. People from this side were going that side. People from that side is going this side. And you know what happened? Qasim was lying in the middle of the ground. Qasim was lying in the middle of the ground. He is still alive. He's asking, Ammu, help me. Help me, Ammu. He is still alive. When Hussein is looking for him, the horses are running over him. You know, these horses are very heavy. These hooves of the horses are very heavy. And a 13-year-old body is very tender. When these horses started trampling him and stepping over him, it was such that the hooves were going through his body to the ground. He was being embedded into the ground, but the body was going. When Imam Hussein came to the body of Qasim, he said, Qasim, it's hard for your uncle that you called him for help and your uncle couldn't be there to help you. I couldn't be there to help you, Qasim. I told you Qasim was short. Two more things and that's it. When Imam Hussein raised Qasim up to take him back, when he raised him up to take him back, it is said in history that Qasim, when he put him on top of his shoulder to take him back, his legs were dragging on the ground. His body was stretched out, that his legs were burning on the ground. And Imam Hussein, when he was bringing it back, just one more thing and that's it. I will leave you like that. When he was bringing back Qasim, as he came close to the tents, there's something that came over Hussein, that Hussein dropped to his knees and started crying. He started to cry. He was still holding Qasim. He started to cry. And then when he brought them back, he was asked, Hussein, why did you cry? What came in your mind? Then just listen to Hussein. What came in your mind that made you cry at that point? He said, I remembered something a long time ago through Qasim bringing him. When my mother used to pray, after they broke the door on her, I used to hear bones crackling against each other. Her bones used to crack. It remained in my mind. Today when I picked up Qasim, the bones were crackling against each other. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلب سيعلم الذين